Hi there, my name is Nick Dutch, professional tarot reader, quite long standing. I'm doing this kind of like series of videos about tarot and tarot decks which I'm buying, predominantly so I can show you them, and because I like buying tarot decks and it's fun, and I like exploring the subjects. And I've shown you like some very traditional style tarot decks, like this one here which I've got upside down for you. That's live TV for you, there we go. Okay, and I've shown you more sort of like fun fantasy ones like this one here, which was quite a giggle, but a bit pathetic really. I actually quite like it in its own like fun little way. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a different type of tarot entirely, and this particular video is not for those under the age 18, okay? This is kind of like horror channel stuff, late at night after 10 p.m. the kids have gone to bed, it's Halloween night and you're up with your wife and you're stoned out of your nuts and you want to go all paranoid and messed in the mind. This is what we're looking at today. The Night Sun Tarot. Now there's a reason that I've put a magnifying glass into the shot here today, and that's because despite the fact I'm going to show you a tarot deck which is so dark and so twisted and so macabre in its energy that you could only really love it for spiritual purposes if your name happens to be Dexter Morgan or Hannibal Lecter. Alright, there is some fine detail in the cards which with the help of a magnifying glass you can bring out. And some of the signs and symbols associated with this, that goes right back to not only things like Alphonse Louis Constance and the writings of Transcendental Magic, but also the Crowley Thoth type imagery as well, and also proper ritual magic and ceremonial magic stuff, which of course came out of Judeo-Christian mystery schools, as well as using pagan ideas and also ideas from Eastern mysticism. So if you're a real big grown-up, you can actually have a look through the negative imagery, through all the darkness and the macabreness and the over-the-top gothic imagery. I mean, that one doesn't look too bad, but if you go deeper into it, let's see if we can pull one out at random. No, that one's not scary enough. Let's go straight to... Oh, that's right, the man with snakes coming out of his mouth. There we go. Right, I've only had a quick look through this, and you can already start to see, because of the use of colour, okay, just purely based upon the use of colour, it has a very different feeling to it than the vast majority of other tarot decks I've shown you. I mean, you got the letter key of Solomon-esque symbols round the back. I don't know whether I can magnify this any more for you in the appalling darkness of my flat. There we go, and of course there's another beautifully light, cheerful and uplifting image for you. You know, I mean, it's powerful. Some of this imagery is powerful, and it gets further on. You get the suit of swords, for instance. That's staves. Where's swords? Let's just show you a bit of gore, shall we? Just try and find some gore. That's not necessarily gory, but that's just like weird. I mean, it's just, it does just feel, that's the one, that's the kind of like nightmare image. You know, you can imagine that as a kind of like creature that's possessed, sort of like attacking you in the dead of night sort of thing. And that's why I feel it's got much more of like a horror movie theme to it. It's got this feeling of horror moviness to it, and the darkness and the fear and being vulnerable, or indeed threatening people who you want to make vulnerable. I mean, that's just like, that's just got the thing going with it, if you know what I mean. It's just, it just feels like that. I mean, it's got, yeah, elemental signs. I mean, the cool thing about this tarot, though, if I'm put all my joking and my like scathing attitude aside, is we've got, you know, we got the Hebrew letters in the corners. We've got the astrological signs. That one's pure astrology there. And as you can see, there's a sword card. Where's the other ones with the Hebrew letters on it? Probably back to the freaking majors. Here we go. Yeah, I mean, all tarot requires a bit of study. Let's pick this one up, okay? You got the Aleph in the corner. Okay. So, you know, there is a feeling of tradition there. You know, you got some sketch work done on the top. which connects again. You know, it requires time. It demands something of you. But it's not a friendly tarot deck. You got the 6-rayed star in the back with the Hebrew letters around it. If you look there, okay, just above his head, just above his hat. I don't know whether you can see any of that on my crappy camera, but you know, but again, it's not really a light spirituality. It's not really a light feeling. It's not really a tarot deck that makes you feel tranquil. I mean, if you remember the prediction tarot deck I showed you in an earlier video, that was light, that was peaceful, that was tranquil, that was cerebral, that was much more Catholic in its imagery. This one, it has a strange visceralness to it. I mean, sure, you've got Christian imagery to it, because you've got to have Christian imagery as well as Jewish imagery, as well as Islamic imagery, as well as Eastern ideas as well, mixed in with the astrology and the Hebrew letters, because that's what it all is. Because Alphonse Louis Constant said that you could use the title magician and use the symbols of all spiritualities and all religions without hypocrisy. And I think that's what this one's trying to do. Okay, you got to know the various different interpretations of the various different letters of the Hebrew alphabet in order to try and understand what it's trying to say from that point of view. But it's only from an occultic interpretation, not necessarily traditional Jewish interpretation, which has a different depth to it and a different meaning to it. And you got to carry on studying these things and expanding your understanding in order to try and increase your depth. Otherwise, you just like freeze up at one particular point of belief, really. And it is a question of belief and dogma, and you can't have that. Now, as far as the Hermit card is concerned, that is actually quite striking. Alright, it's okay, it's very slightly Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. I just can't get away from the fact that this is like just so, like, you know, it's got this macabre feeling about it. I really want to get myself a Deviant Moon Tarot at some point, because that one is supposed to be just cartoony in its macabreness. But this one just takes the biscuit. I mean, this one's like got inspirations from like the steampunk kind of like stuff going on, and weirdness. I mean, if you were to like look at this tarot in the dead of the night, you could probably go a bit mental. You probably could. I mean, okay. Very traditional in some respects, very untraditional in others. You know, I'm just gonna seriously have to like get out my magnifying glass and go through each and every single one of these and try and see every sign and every symbol and go through it all in like, not quite digging the cage around his head. I mean, that's got this kind of like, oh, what's the name of that movie? The one that's got Pinhead in it. Oh God, it feels like that sort of thing. That kind of like tortured. I mean, these things, you know, these tendrils up here, it looks like they've got insect legs, and all of them dipped in blood. Oh. Sweet dreams, boys and girls, sweet fucking dreams. Okay, so Death is pregnant. Death is a pregnant woman. A 3/4 naked pregnant woman with a blade. Okay. And boobs. You got your letters up there, you got your astrology there. Temperance is pouring blood from a container which looks like a human head into another human head, which is open at the top. So the brain's been scraped out or something, and something else being poured into it, which is really not necessarily the kind of imagery of a well-adjusted, like, I mean, you know, I mean, if you're a very spiritual, well-adjusted person, this is not the tarot read the tarot for you. This really is not. I like the use of the magic circle. I mean, it's just like around the outside there. I don't know if it's coming out on the camera at all, but it's there, and you've got the symbols in flame and in light. Oh, but it's visceral. Visceral. No, they don't look like they're bare-chested women in these cards. Yeah. Okay. I mean, this is like fucking weird. The moon. It's supposed to be the fucking moon, and it's again. It's got like semi-pregnant skeletons. Oh dear! Oh dear! Oh dear! It's not sort of happy. It's kind of like it's got this twistedness to it. Okay, the sun has got more of a traditional positive, happy feeling to it. Oh, you got a little astrology around there and stuff. You know, very nice, but also rather peculiar. I mean, the whole thing is peculiar. This is like the tarot of the Little Shop of Horrors or something weird. It's just like, oh. Anyway, I'm not going to show you everything that's in this tarot because you probably want to get it yourself and you don't have too many spoilers. But, you know, just like, my point, I suppose, if there is one here, is that tarot is human. Okay, tarot is human. It is art. And as a result of that, you will get all kinds of creations, all kinds of symbols, and all kinds of spiritualities, and all kinds of weirdness coming on out through them. I mean, one of the cards I saw here was actually quite good. It was a vision of an image of a man standing upright with the 7 chakras of the body highlighted in the traditional symbols. And around it was the 10 spheres of the Tree of Life with the holy names of God in Hebrew written on it. So that's more like an image of like healing and protection kind of thing. But it's again expressed with this weird use of color, this weird use of style. So if you can see through the darkness, if you can see through the kind of like skulls with the top like cut off and the brains scooped out and blood being poured back into it and that kind of stuff, and the half-naked semi-pregnant skeletons and and all this like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom kind of stuff, then there is some traditional imagery from genuine like magical groups, but there's also like a lot of sickness there, a lot of like Dexter Morgan's wet dream and Hannibal Lecter's kind of like something he would do on a Halloween night when he's bored and he's finished eating people. And I mean, that one's not too bad at all. Okay, I mean, it doesn't have the same macabreness. That's a pretty good. That's a cup card, the 6 of Cups. Okay, nice, fine. True, close to traditional. What do you know? That's the pregnant skeletons again. I'll put that away for now. Speak to you soon. And no, I'm not using this one for my readings. I'm sorry, I'm not. Unless it's Halloween night and I'm paid a lot of money.